Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another dose of BattleTech. And before we get into this mission, please keep in mind that this is an older build of the game, still considered beta. Everything you see is, of course, subject to change and improve. Now, this is a assassination mission, side mission, of course. And I've got the same lance that I left off with when I was doing my Twitch side mission playthrough. And so our main target is somewhere around here. We've got some supporting pirate lances here, apparently. It is a 3-skull mission. I don't know what really to expect.
Waiting for orders.
But I've already taken a look at the terrain, and I'm thinking about grabbing some high ground to eliminate the supporting team first. And we want to take advantage of some of the tree cover if we can. There's also maybe some potential bottlenecks that we could lure the enemy into if we need. But
You betcha.
let's go ahead and start moving. We might be able to pick them up on sensors. And we do.
Enemy contact.
So it looks like we've actually got some vehicles to start with. 60 tonners, which in many cases can be a lot more deadly than some of the mechs, simply because their frontal armor is insane. So considering that they're there,
I copy.
we'll want to maybe try to get behind them and hit the rear armor.
Copy that.
We've got Medusa and my SideStrafe character in more supportive mechs.
Let's get fired up. There's work to do.
Yeah, another 60 tonner. Enemy doesn't appear to be doing a whole heck of a lot right now.
What can I do for you?
Decker does have sensor lock, so we could start throwing some missile salvos their way. We're going to push into this direction,
Orders received.
assuming we can climb some of this and maybe get into tree cover if we need it. But from here, we're going to do a sensor lock, just to see what we're dealing with.
Locked on.
Manticore, another 60 tonner, probably all 60 tonner. Alright.
I hear ya.
Can then switch to Medusa and begin some indirect fire, 90%. Again, from the front, it's not great, but that's weird. I wonder if it's going to go over instead of saying that I have a shot through the mountain, but alright.
Heading out.
We're going to move them up a little bit and then engage. Again, these vehicles have a lot of armor. Extremely weak from the front. And if you can walk up to them, you can pretty much step on them and
Good to go.
call it a day.
Got it.
The Orions are for the most part going to be our distraction. While we try to get around here.
Full throttle.
Now they may also end up with further reinforcements. Oh, it's an 80 tonner. There's the Manticore.
Commander.
Ready for orders.
I don't think I have a shot yet with... But we're going to keep running around here.
Full throttle.
Good to go.
Let's see. Currently no... Well, there's a line of sight there, but what we're going to do is we're just going to sprint into some more cover. We'll build evasion. These guys are going to be coming up to us too, so it can be pretty hairy. Hopefully the Orions can buy us some time so that we can reposition.
Waiting for orders.
Got a little bit of a blockage here. There's a better percentage there. It's also going to give us some evasion and cover. Chipping away at that armor.
What can I do for you?
Glitch has a shot from here. The only downside is having this thing come around us and hit us in the back, so I gotta be careful of that. It puts us in a little bit of a predicament. What I can do is move up to here, give us a few evasions. We'll move us up closer to the vehicle, but then we could also potentially melee it if we need to.
On my way.
But it's best to get rid of the vehicles as quickly as possible. There is a Mech Contact 40-tonner. Alright, we're just going to let this guy have it.
This should be good. Knocked out a vehicle.
Hit them before they can hit you. 80 tons swinging around. I don't know if he'll have a shot by the time he makes his movement. I think we've bought some time. Another Manticore. That guy's moving in quick. Alright.
I hear ya.
Good to go.
Decker is going to push this guy as quickly as possible. There's a little bit of a visibility issue. I think it's the only shot I have is from these two locations. This will push me further around though, which will make it harder for the 80-ton to hit me. So we're going to do this. It'll build some evasion as well.
Move order received.
You want to keep moving. Build those evasion chevrons or pips. And make it harder for you to hit.
Acknowledged.
What can I do for you?
Continue to soften them up with LRMs.
New sensor contact.
60-tonner. Lot of threats.
I hear ya.
Lot of threats. Let's see, we can get Still nothing here. I can sprint in and be in a potentially decent position soon. I still won't have a shot. This will eventually give me a shot, assuming we can't get it on the next
Full throttle.
turn.
Waiting for orders.
Now this guy's still coming around the corner, so what I want to do is... He might be here. So, in this game, important to think ahead. What's going to happen when I do this, right? Might be thinking, okay, maybe we can move in and take this out. If I move here, then I get shot at by this guy in the next turn. So we need to think about how to kind of avoid getting absolutely wrecked by all of these. So, this doesn't give me the best shot. You can see there's a little bit of a visibility issue here. This eyeball designates potential cover. But the percentages are still pretty good, and what I'm going to do is flip the torso around like this. I'm hoping that this guy doesn't get around us in time. It does give me 2 evasion chevrons. This guy might also come around the corner, so really at this point, options are limited unless we can... Oh, actually, this will give us some heavy cover. My fear is that I get shot in the back by this, though. The other option would be potentially moving here, which would block us from that vehicle, but then we would run into this. Now, what I am thinking, though, is that with this option, we could potentially shoot at both of these. We can reveal that one. We could finish that one off.
I read you, Commander.
We could step on
Moving out.
one in another turn. So what is this? It is a Bulldog, which is SRM-4s and a large laser. Okay. Now, this guy will most likely shoot at deck. So the percentages, 95s, and then these are... Gonna soften up that. And the next turn we could step on the Bulldog. Should be a 1-step kill. The vehicle's trying to get around me, which is fine. Because we did build up some evasion charges. The other idea is to lure the enemy into making mistakes. And the more targets you give them to look at, then the easier it is for
Good to go.
the rest of your team to potentially deal with them, giving them flanking opportunities. And even though I have a movement there, I want to see if I can also get some evasion. But I'd rather just take whatever gives me the better shot. So even though we can get some evasion here, I could stay in forest cover, but let's see. I might do this. This will give me some evasion. It'll give me some good shots. It'll put me closer to dealing with these threats as well.
All weapons committed.
And again, the rear of those vehicles, terrible. So, best place to hit them if you can't step on them.
Enemy unit destroyed.
Careful. They're looping around back.
So, enemy can be pretty smart. They'll go for your rear armor, which was
Waiting on you, Commander.
a little risky there. But what we're going to do here, we're going to go for the melee attack. We're going to tell our mech to attack from this angle. So, if you're noticing this, when you go for melee, and I'll show you here, you've got these little circles. This is what direction are you meleeing from. So we want to go this way. Why? Because this guy's coming around, and we don't want to get shot in the back. Now, we might have to deal with these as well, but I think by the time we do this, we'll be able to
gonna be good.
Get into some better cover.
Bye-bye.
All right, they're still figuring out what they want to do.
Receiving you.
And we have Decker over here. Now, he can move here, prepare for this guy.
On the move.
And we don't want to sprint, because if we sprint, then we can't do a sensor lock, which will allow me to at least
I've got a sensor lock.
figure out what it is. It is a Shrek with triple PPCs, and it will also allow us to go ahead and find a shot for our missiles, which is going to be here.
All weapons are go.
Soften them up a little bit, but brace for PPCs. That is why it's important to move all the time, because we built evasion chevrons, which allowed us to dodge all of that. The faster you're moving, the more you're moving, the further you're moving, the harder you are to hit. We also jumped into some forest cover, which is 25% less damage, I believe. Alright, now, an ideal situation would be walking up to it and smashing it. I can't really do that with
Good to go.
him, at least, and I can't do it with her either. However, we can move here, which unfortunately does not give me a shot.
Commander.
I'm trying to just see who has the best shot. Since he already fired, we might be able to take him. This will give me some cover and evasion. The PPCs will have range problems the closer you are to them, I believe. The minimum range.
Roger that.
There we go.
Reporting. One less vehicle.
Alright. Mechs are on the way. But we took out a lot of those vehicles, which in some cases have more firepower than the actual mechs, which is why you want to get rid of them. Glass cannons.
What can I do for you?
From certain angles, obviously if you're dealing with them from the front, that armor can last a while, which is why I spent a lot more time flanking with my Jaeger mech. Now in this situation, we haven't really identified these yet.
Yes, Commander.
Medusa will be able to
Waiting
move
on
up,
you,
but we want to think
Commander.
about her because she's going to be the first to see these targets. What we're going to do is sprint over here. This will give us
Moving
evasion
back.
chevrons and put us in forest cover. They won't have a shot. Strafe. We can continue to move. Which may actually grab some of their attention.
Full throttle.
The other option, too, is, of course, reserving your units and maintaining your cover and your evasion and simply
Waiting for orders.
allowing them to come to you.
On my way.
Also affecting the initiative. Looks like we do have visual on a cicada. Now, interesting. Looks like this one does not have the shoddy debuff, so that has full armor. PPC 2 MGs, so that PPC is a threat. He's got a lot of evasion, and he's probably in forest cover, so We're not going to be doing a lot of damage, but by firing at him, we'll remove some of the evasion, and there's always stability damage with missiles, which can lead us to potentially knocking him down, although considering how far away he is, he's most likely going to move, removing the stability issues. And again, it didn't do a whole lot, but it's better than nothing. Armor is armor, and the less they have of it, the better. Okay, he's falling back.
I hear ya.
We don't want to expose Strafe just yet.
What can I do for ya?
Glitch is not yet at a spot where she can do
What's
one
up,
movement and get into a firing position. Decker is about to come around here, so we're going to go here. Angle our armor towards the enemy. And we can also do a sensor lock here. This guy already moved, so we can sensor lock this target, 40-tonner.
Got a lock.
Which I believe is another cicada. The 60 is rerouting towards Decker.
I hear ya.
Medusa, indirect, on the way. Alright, he's unsteady.
Waiting on you, Commander.
And we will have a shot from here. The problem is there's not a lot of cover here. It does expose us to potentially a few mech. He could turn around. He may engage us. This guy is medium, small, medium. But we would have a shot. So that's what we kind of got to think about whether we want to do. In this situation, if you really want to take the shot, we either wait for him to pop around and engage these threats, or we can actually use vigilance to take the shot and give us a little bit of protection. I'll also have some evasion charges. So we're going to confirm this, make our movement, face armor. So we're guarded, entrenched, and that's a quick draw. So I don't have the shot on him though. So we have the shot on this guy, and he's got a little bit of damage here. That's the medium laser. We're gonna save the precision strike. I'm just gonna let him have it with everything.
All weapons committed.
Good to go.
Glitch can take high ground. This does give us a shot. There's a little bit of a blockage here, but it does give us an interesting side shot to the arm, or maybe even side torso. And by moving here, if they want to come get Glitch, let's see, that's still, the percentages are still good, but
Got it.
some of our view is blocked. Okay. Now this guy's got a lot of lasers. If I were to do a precision... Oops, if we were to right click, we can see what's where. Alright, so this is the thing you want to do often too. Right click on the mech, it gives you this, and then when you highlight over the parts, it shows you what's in what part of the mech. So the right torso, 2 medium lasers, 2 jump jets, SRM ammo, and a heat sink, and then on that arm, a medium laser. Jump jets, and then the rest of the armament there. The interesting thing here is it looks like the SRM ammo is also in this torso. We have a shot on that torso from this position. We're going to do the called shot.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
Heat sink down, and a
Another hit like that and you're toast.
laser is crit.
Come on, Mech Warriors. It's go time.
So that's not bad. We're working on the bulk of his weapon systems. Alright. Now, we don't know if they have reinforcements, and it would appear the actual target of the mission is right here. This is the war criminal, so it's not anything crazy. It's only a cicada, but they are still fully armored, so we'll do what we can here. It's not super exciting, but again, I don't really have any choice. Now, this situation, we obviously have a shot on back armor, but we are putting the Jaeger in some hot water by going this way. We will have a back shot on the quick draw, though, which is really nice. The other thing we can do is, once again, vigilance. Moving up, this will give us 3 evasion chevrons. They will most likely turn to fire at me. But we are heavy, we are up armored at the front. This shot, as you can see, is too good to pass on, and you see that this is blinking now, so that bypasses his guarded stance. So, on the way.
All weapons committed.
This guy's backing up. Oh, back to back fighting. Or maybe not. That would have been kind of cool if they'd have done that. Let's see, where's he's moonwalking. Okay, so you went for glitch. Interesting. I thought that he would have gone for the Jaeger.
Waiting for orders.
Now, considering this opportunity, we want to continue to take advantage of it. I don't really have... If I move, I lose that shot. So in this situation, even though I always tell people always keep moving to get the evasion, I'd hate to lose this opportunity to strike. And we might be able to go through the arm and into that torso and put some hurt on this guy, so...
All weapons are go!
There goes the torso, taking with it the arm, injuring the pilot.
Standing by.
We then move in Decker. This gives us 2 evasion pips. It also puts us in forest cover and takes some of the attention away from the other mechs. We are fresh on armor, so if they decide to open up on Decker, it's fine. Now, in this situation, I do lose any shot potential on this guy, and we're going to work on this one because he's not fresh or anything. He does have evasion, though. So the other thing we could have done is potentially sensor locked for somebody else. Firing will also remove
Targeting for an alpha strike.
one of the evasion pips. But it looks like side torso, pilot injured, and he's unstable as well.
Good to go.
Now Medusa has a few options here. You can see that these guys are all unstable. This guy's still got a lot of medium lasers. He's pretty messed up, though. So we'll go ahead and continue on him.
Locking in. All weapons systems.
There's the knockdown, which usually leads to a pilot injury. And he'll get back up based on the turn, but we still injured the pilot and did a little bit more damage to him. Soften him up if he really wants to continue to engage us. He's backing up. He's probably going to go for glitch with limited weapon systems, which is fine because we've got the armor to deal with it.
Is that it? I'm barely scratched.
Meanwhile, I've been moving around here, and we can continue to move. This is going to give us evasion. This is going to allow us to continue working on the quick draw. I could also choose to do a multi-strike. Let's check what his condition is. So, 64 center torso. What I would rather do here is attack multiple targets. And that's because we've identified that his torso is pretty messed up. And we've removed his arm, so he doesn't have a shield arm. So we can probably just go right into that. It's a big target. I'm thinking we could maybe take him out. We need to do like 64 structure damage. But there is, of course, always the chance to miss. So I think what we're going to do is dump all the lasers on him. This guy's about ready to get a knockdown, so I might switch the autocannons to him. And we could also do breach if we wanted only to do like the one weapon so that we could breach him. But we're just going to do both to get the knockdown or to further guarantee that. And then hopefully the lasers will actually just finish this guy off. It might be overkill, but again, you could potentially miss, so.
Engaging multiple targets.
And there's the quick draw. And then there's the knockdown on the cicada. Which leads to another pilot injury. And so now this is the war criminal, I believe. He's moving around, which is providing him with evasion.
I hear ya.
Glitch has a called shot on this target.
Yes, Commander.
I think we can move Decker in over here.
Confirmed.
So the one thing I want everybody to pay attention to is how we used terrain to our advantage, right? We assessed the situation the second we dropped in. And we noticed that we were in kind of a bowl. And we played a lot with luring the enemy into that bowl and then surrounding them. We have a unit here, unit here, unit here, and then of course Medusa, which can really be anywhere he wants because he's the LRM boat. Alright, so this guy doesn't have much, but this is one of those missions where if you don't deal with this guy within a certain amount of time after breaching the mech, they start to run. And since it's a cicada, I think we're going to go ahead and just finish this guy off first. And then we'll be able to focus the rest on this guy.
All weapons are go.
Decker doesn't have multi-shot, so I wouldn't have been able to
One less target.
fire at both.
Waiting for orders.
Glitch now can move in,
Moving out.
which will give her 2 evasion chevrons. And then we can also do a precision strike. And if you wanted to, you could play around with him, just try to knock him down with LRMs, or maybe go for legs or whatever, but we just want to get rid of this guy. Knockdowns obviously will help with slowing the target down so that they can't run from you, because the evacuation point sometimes for these guys is often really close, so you got to get them before they evac. So in this situation, since he's all fresh, ideally we're focusing the leg. But I think the AC missed and went into his arm.
Aye, aye.
Medusa's up. We can even move him forward a little bit if that helps give him some... Not much, but we'll move him anyway. Now, normally if this was like a bigger mech, a more valuable mech, an assault or something, I might want to try to play with him a bit to go for salvage, but... So, see, we've done enough damage to where he wants to try to bug out. And where's his evac route? See, this is why I went for the leg, because we want to knock him down as soon as possible. His evacuation point is right here. So we need to cut him off.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Who's got the closest? Looks like Glitch has a shot here. Not a great percentage.
Waiting for orders.
Strafe has An interesting shot here. His leg's pretty messed up, so I think we can actually get a knockdown. We can do precision just to guarantee it. Go for the leg on the way.
All weapons committed.
And there it is. Torso destroyed, pilot injured. Knockdown's going to be another pilot injury. Potential... Nope, no incapacitation yet.
What can I do for you?
But he's down. Slows him down.
Affirmative.
And we will get a called shot because he's knocked down. I don't really care too much about the salvage on this one.
Firing everything I've got.
Old Faithful
Come on, Mech Warrior.
does it again.
It's go time.
Mission accomplished.
Mission successful.
Alright, well, not necessarily the world's most challenging mission, but still the result that I like to acquire when playing this game. Clean mechs and no injuries. Now, this, if anything, should provide you with some basic ideas and concepts for combat within BattleTech. And even though the mission wasn't necessarily super challenging, things could have gone sideways at a moment's notice, because those vehicles were packing some heavy firepower, and had we not gotten rid of those quickly or early enough, then we might have had to run into the mechs and deal with both threats at the same time, which is never a good thing. But in any case, even if the scenario was more difficult, we still want to play it the same way. We wanted to analyze the terrain, create fatal funnels, kill boxes, lure them into a bowl, and get the high ground advantage. We surrounded them, we were able to pull off some flanking shots, and everything worked out. Now, in other scenarios, I've seen the final boss or the war criminal or your primary target be an assault mech, and maybe that target also has a backup heavy lance. Well, you don't want to run into those things when you're missing half of your armor, maybe some of your weapon systems, and your crew is injured. That's why I'm very patient. I play it safe, especially early on, and I don't get super aggressive until I can guarantee the advantage. I treat it like a real-world warfare scenario, and that's how I've been able to achieve better results the longer I've played this game. Early on, I found myself making a lot of mistakes trying to learn the mechanics, but once I figured things out, I was able to sink back into my natural state of the military tactician that I dream about being, I guess. But hey, that's why I enjoy turn-based strategy. It gives me these opportunities. It allows me to take the time to think about the situation and achieve victory over an enemy that isn't necessarily prepared to deal with my terrain advantage. So if you can take one thing away from this video, it's that you should never forget about those terrain advantages. Trees, hills, mountains, elevation, water for heat management, any other type of terrain defensive bonus that you could get on some of these planets. Use it. Don't just run out into the open and think that your armor is going to save you. It might for a limited time, but eventually when you have to go up against a superior threat later on in that mission that you weren't aware of, you're done. You're going to have to retreat or withdraw. You may lose a crew member. All of this stuff costs money. When you get back to your ship, you've got monthly financials. The crew gets paid a salary. You have to repair mechs, that costs. You have to re-outfit them. Think about what you're spending on the way back, right? Save that armor. Don't let those structural hits happen. And if it does, pull back, retreat, lure the enemy into a kill box, get the upper hand. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here. I'll see you on the next one.